What's up? I'm Jacob Blitzo, your Elixir mentor. We are going to get our All Gist LiveView and basic HEEx template routing and a function component for our gist created in this video. So the function component will be a reusable component that will basically relist, in a for loop, all of our, created gists that are on the platform that we can search through. And this will allow us to clean up our UI and add pagination to our gists to match our designs in the next couple videos as well. I just want to, let's just jump right in, and I'm going to pull up the designs just to remind us. And what we're starting to work on today is this all gists view. We're going to do very basic implementation of this. What's going to happen is we're just going to get all of our gists showing. We're not going to get the UI set up today, but we're going to get the nice gradient up above. We'll have a title up here. We're not going to touch the search box yet, and we'll get our routing in place and get the all gists button in our navigation bar working. And that will be a pretty good chunk and just kind of lay the foundation as we move forward to, make our gists look nice and pretty as we scroll through. And then as we get to the bottom, you'll see this pagination with the next and previous, and we're going to be implementing that in a future video as well. So I think this video shouldn't take too long. It'll be a lot of fun though. And with that being said, let's go ahead and just dive right into coding. Let's first open up our Docker and just make sure our database is running. If yours isn't, mine is not. Let's go ahead and just start that. And then let's go ahead and pull open our terminal. And I'm going to CD to my project. Mine is in Documents, Development, Elixir Mentor, and Elixir Gist. And there we go. And then if we go ahead and just open up VS Code with code space dot. And that will get our project open. I'm going to close the menu here and I'll make this full screen. And so the very first thing, first let's open up our local host and kind of review what we have and what we're going to do. Localhost 4000. Whoops. Oh, it helps to run the project. mix phx.server. Okay, let's try this again. I was getting ahead of myself. So we have our gist homepage where we can create our gists, right? And all of that's working. And now when we click on all gists, we want it to route to a new live view and to show a list of all the gists created. And that's what we're going to do. So jump back to VS Code and let's expand the Elixir Gist web. And then in the live directory, we're going to create a new live view. And then we're going to create a new HEEx template view as well. But first, let's just say new file. And we're going to call this all_gists_live.ex. This is our live view. We need a def module, and this will be all gists live do and end. And I don't know why my autocomplete's not working. Def module. There we go. See, I even forgot to include the Elixir Gist web because I'm used to auto-complete working. All right, and we're going to just do a very basic implementation of our live view right now. And what we need first at the top is we need to use Elixir Gist web, and we need to implement the live view behavior. So we're going to say use, and then the name of our project, which is the Elixir Gist web. And then we're going to pass in an Atom live view. Okay, and now we need to have our mount function. And the mount function takes 3 parameters. And the very first one are parameters passed in, which we don't need right now. So we're going to just put an underscore. And then we have our session. We'll just do underscore URI. We don't need that right now, but we do need our socket. So we're going to leave that there. And then we need to return a tuple with an OK atom and our socket. And that is all we need for now in our live view. And now let's go ahead and create our HEEx template to the HTML that we want to render when this live view is called. So let's go ahead and make a new file in the live directory again. And we're going to call it the same thing. So all_gists_live. And then we're going to do a .html.heex. All right. And now here we just need to call our gradient class, our gradient tailwind class. And we can even just go to just live and go to the top. And all we want is basically this. So let's go ahead. We'll retype it. But if you want to just copy and paste, you can do that from previous. But we're just going to create a div. A div. That kind of div. All right. And then inside the opening tag, we want to call some of our tailwind classes here. And we already created em.-gradient. So let's go ahead and pull that. And we want this to be a flex box, and we want items to be center, and we want justify center. All right. And then let's go ahead and return the closing div down. And then we want another div for our title. And we're just going to have all gists up there right now, kind of match some of our other views because we're not implementing the search behavior quite yet. So all we want to do here is do an h1 tag. And inside the opening, the header h1 tag, we're going to do class again. And we're going to say we want the font to be our brand font. We want the font to be bold, and we want our text to be 3XL. And we want our text to be white as well. And then in between the opening and closing h1 tag, we're just going to say all gists. All right, that's cool. And then save that. And now all we have to do is let's put our route in place. And then we can go ahead and look at this view and make sure it is looking good. So now we just have to go down to our router file, which is right here. And we want to go ahead and just write down in our, where we have our create and our gist live views, we're going to just right underneath do live. And we're going to name this route just /all. And we're going to go ahead and just call our all gists live. And there we go. Save it. And now we should be able to navigate to /all and see our, what happened here? Okay. And now instead of going to create, we want to do all. And there we go. So we see our gradient and we see our title. And we already have our navigation bar and we have our footer. So that's cool. We set up our the basic live view implementation. And now we need to fix our little all gists button here. So let's go ahead and jump back into VS Code. And where we're going to do this is we have to go to where our navigation bar is. And our navigation bar is inside the components directory, layouts, and then we're going into app.html.heex. And our button here, let's see, we got to find it. That's not it. Okay, here we are. On line 15, we have a button called All Gists. And what we're going to do here is we're going to actually change this to a link instead of a button. And we're going to route to with the ~p. So it's a verified route to all. Okay, so I'm going to just delete this right here. And we're going to go ahead and say .link. That's not what I want. We want to do less than and then do .link, and we can close that off. And then we also have to close this with a closing tag the same way. .link. All right. And now inside of the opening tag for this, we're going to have some, we have to do the same Tailwind classes, so it looks the same as it did before. So we're going to do class equals, and then inside quotations, we're going to do margin top of 2 units and then margin right of 2. And we're just copying what the button had essentially. And then our text is going to be white. Our text size is going to be 1 rem. And our font is font brand again, and then font bold. And you could actually copy this instead of deleting the button. I probably should have done that. Font dash bold. And then we want our hover state on the text to be our EM dark light color. All right. And then after that, close off the double quotes, and then we want our href, and this is how it knows where it's routing inside of curly braces. And then when you do tilde p, this means it has to be a verified route. So if it's not found in our router, we would get a warning or an error here. And all we're going to do here is put in /all. Enjoying the video? Show some love with a like and hit subscribe to stay updated. To support me and keep the content free, click join for memberships or pick up a course at elixirmentor.com and get free access to my private community. Let's jump back in. And then in between the opening and closing link tags, we'll just say all gists. And then when we save that and go back to Firefox, it still looks the same. The hover still works. And now if we go to the home page, and then go back to all gists, now it's routing. And I do notice that this like white border, something's going on with our UI. So we're going to have to dig into that and fix that in a later video. Oh yeah, and then when it's selecting, something tells me just the unselected version, we have the borders wrong. But we'll fix that at a later time. I'm aware I saw it. I just wanted to make sure you guys saw it too. So there we go. We have our all gists. We have everything routing. So now let's create a really simple function component so we can display our gists. So let's first, all we are going to do, we don't need to be in the app.html.HEEx template anymore. We're still going to need, we're not going to need that. We're not going to need our router. We're just going to need our all gists live HEEx file and our all gists LiveView. Okay. Before we can create a function component that's going to display all of our gists, we first need to fetch all the gists from our database. And we're going to go ahead and use handle params. So mount is called when the LiveView is first rendered in the initial state. And then handle params is the callback, it's called when URL parameters are changed for handling navigation within the LiveView without reloading the page. So it can receive URL parameters, and it's called after mount. And on the initial load, it will be called on the initial load, and then any changes we do with push patch or live patch. So those are things that are good to know. Obviously, in this video, we could do everything in mount right now and then refactor later, but I think that it's just kind of silly to do that, especially since we're going to be adding pagination very soon. So right under mount, let's go ahead and call our handle params, arity3, and what we get passed in. So we have our params that get passed in, and then URI, so just underscore that, it doesn't matter. And then we need our socket. And right now we're not going to be reading parameters. So we're just going to put an underscore in front of that until we do. We're just going to grab all of our gists from the database and then put it in our assigns map. Okay. Alias in, we have to alias in our context. Let's see, for gists. So we need to access our list gists function for now. And in a later video, we're going to sort this so the newest gist is on top. And then we're also going to, with pagination, we're going to limit 10 per request, and then you pass in the page number and you can get what the other ones. And but we'll do that I don't know if it won't be the next video, because the next video will make everything pretty, and then we'll do pagination. So right now, all we have to do is alias in our context file. So alias, and we need to call Elixir gist dot gists. And then let's go ahead and make a variable here called gists, and then it's going to equal, and then we need to call that context gists and then our list gists. That'll grab all the gists in the database, unsorted, so we're not controlling that yet. And then what we need to do is, we've done this in previous videos, we're just going to rebind our socket with using the assign function. So assign, and then we pass in our current socket and then our new, oh, what is going on? Get out of my way. There we go. All right, and then we want to add the keyword gists to our assigns map so we can access it from our HEEx template. So gists, and then we're going to pass in the variable gists. So we should have a list of gists here, and then we're putting that in our assigns map. And then we just have to return a tuple here of no reply and our now rebound socket with gists added. And so if we save this, that's all we should have to do here. And then now we can create our little function. So we're going to create a function component. Instead of just putting it all in here, I think since we're reusing it so many times, it makes it just a lot easier to call a component function in a for loop than it does to just like write it all in one spot. So let's go ahead and just create a function here. So we're going to call it def gist. And we're going to pass in our assigns map and then do a do end. And then all we have to do is our HEEx templating. And so that is tilde, capital H, and then it's followed by 3 quotation marks. And then we close it with 3 quotation marks. And now we can just put our component inside this. And we're going to just make this super simple, okay? All we're going to do is display the email, the gist name, updated at description and markup text, just so we can see it, okay? So we're not doing any tailwind. We're just trying to get our data to show up on our live view. So we can go ahead and we're just going to create a div here. Okay, so let's space this div down. Oop, I deleted. There we go. All right, so in here, we're just going to use the little evaluation tag. I think that's what it's called. And that's just the less than percentage equal. And then we close it off with a percentage greater than, and then we can evaluate code inside this. And all we're going to do is we just want to display our email. So we have to look for our current user and .email. All right. And then let's go ahead and outside of this, we're going to do a /, and then we'll do our little evaluation tag again. And we're going to have the file name here. And the file name we can get at the gists or gist.name. Just gist. There we go. And then we're going to do, we want updated at and description and markup text. So I'm going to just copy this so I can type faster. And we want updated at, description, and markup text. All right, so we can delete the beginning there. Okay, so we're going to have updated at. We're going to have the description, and then we're going to have our markup text, which is our actual code snippet, markup text. All right, so if we save this, now we have our little function component, and we can call that now in our HEEx template here. So if we go to our HEEx template, we're just going to go underneath this gradient here. And let's go ahead, and we need to do our little evaluation tag because we're going to write Elixir code. And so we have that, and we can do a for loop. So we're going to do for, and then the variable name of the individual gist from our gists list, which we want to call gist. All right. And then we need a less than, a dash, and then we need our @gists, which is available to us from our assigns. And then we just do a do, and then call our function component. And before here, I'm just going to do the little evaluation tag and put an end here. And we don't need the equal sign. There we go. And now the compiler won't yell at us. All right. So now inside of this, we just can call our function component. So we just need a less than, and then to call a function component. So the name of our function was gist. And now to call it, and since our template name is the same as our live view name, it automatically knows that it's there and has access to it. But we just do .gist, and that's the name of our function. And then we have to set the parameter that we're looking for, which is gist, since it's a single gist, to our variable gist that we have in our for loop here. All right. And then we also have to set our current user parameter that we're looking for. And that we get from our assigns. So that is just current user. And then we just close this tag off like that. And there we go. And I'm just going to throw in just a line between every gist that we create, so it's a little cleaner. So just do a little HR here, and there we go. So save that, and now when we go to Firefox and go to all gists, there we go. So obviously there's no formatting, but you see that my username and the gist name is there. So we have it /. We have our updated @ we have our description, and then we have our code snippet, and then we have our line, and then we have our next one. So this is really cool. We have all of our gists displaying. We got a lot of heavy lifting done in this video. We got our All Gists LiveView set up and showing us data. This will allow us to clean up our UI and get pagination added to this project in the following videos. So we're going to be able to make this nice and pretty. And by the end, let me open up Figma again. And by the end of probably like 3 videos worth, we're going to have, it looking nice and pretty, and our pagination is going to work. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for it. So as always, if you need help or want to check out the solutions, check out that GitHub link in the description below. Join my Discord server, Elixir Mentor, if you have any questions or just want to hang out and chat. That link is in the description as well. If you want to learn how to build scalable, production-ready, full-stack and REST API solutions, hit that subscribe button now. I'm Jacob Blitzo, your Elixir Mentor, and I'll see you in the next video.